Hello.
Hello, girlies. My name is Ingelere Dubs, and welcome to Allo. This podcast has been a dream of mine for the past maybe 5 years. To be honest, I just remember in 2018, podcasts started to become a thing, and that's where I said, that's literally what I'm meant to do. Because if there's something I can do, is talk. Okay, I have a lot of ADHD traits, so I can talk. I can talk, and I won't shut up. And this is just, I just knew, okay, this was going to work out for me. So let me just explain to you what this podcast is, what the idea of it is, and what I want to accomplish with it, and why I'm really appreciative that you're here and that you're listening. So, aló is what you say for Spanish speaking people, or at least in my country. It's what you say when you pick up the phone. So the phone rings, tring, tring, and you say, aló. And that's what I want this podcast to be. I want it to feel like you're talking to a girlfriend. Like there's no judgment. You're just telling your little stories. You're sharing your life. And that's it. Okay. There's going to be a little of personal growth. There's going to be a little of emotions and just storytelling, of course. But this is what it is. You're just on the phone with a girlfriend chit chatting about your days. Now, the reason as to why I'm doing this podcast, of course, I want to talk. Who doesn't want to talk? But I feel like the podcasts that I had been listening and that I've been listening for years now are very just one or the other thing in terms of they're just really like chit chatty and storytelling and funsies, but have zero personal growth, or vice versa. Like they have a lot of personal growth. They feel like you're like in a therapy session but have no chit chatting. And that doesn't work for me because that's so boring. Okay. I'm a 26-year-old teenager. I don't want to listen to that. Like, that's just too much for me. I'm trying to de stress from my work, from my life, from everything. I don't want to go to a podcast and feel like I'm just in a class. Annoying. Regardless, that's what we are. We are a good in between of both. And on today's episode, our first episode ever, we're going to be talking about how things are not happening to you, they're happening for you. And I need you to say that with me again. Things are not happening to you, they're happening for you. And when you believe that, your life is going to change. But before we get to talking girly pops, I want to talk about the drinks that I have today because I'm a drink girly and I need to have 3 drinks on me at all times. One for funsies, one for energy, and one for hydration. So right now we have a vitamin C little vitamin drink, a peach tea, and water in my Owala. So that's the drink lineup for this podcast. And if you don't have a drink, please go get one, okay? Do yourself a favor and go get hydrated so that you can feel like we're not just talking about tea, but also drinking it. Now, girly pops, this is the reality of our lives, okay? We always see life as, oh my gosh, what's happening to me? It's the worst thing ever. When in reality, after a couple years go by, you feel like it wasn't really that bad. But at the time, it literally felt like your life was just falling apart. And this is what we're going to talk about today. But first of all, you need a little backstory. And I think this is going to be a very just, I don't know if graphic, but I think it's going to be a story that's going to make you understand why I see things now as the life is happening for me. It's always in my benefit, even if at the time feels like a struggle. Trust me, it's happening for me. So, backstory, girly pops. I was married for 3 years, in a relationship for 4. And trigger warning, domestic violence. It was a very abusive relationship. Okay, there was domestic violence, just emotional abuse, any type of abuse you can imagine. I was going through it, girlies. I met this guy when I was 19, and as of yesterday I'm 26, but now you put a 19-year-old in front of me, and that's a child. Okay, so I think back of my 19-year-old self, and I was a baby. What was I doing getting engaged? Regardless, I met this guy at 19, and I think it was just a very vulnerable age, and just I was alone in a different country, and I was just very vulnerable, and I felt real hard, real madly in love with this guy, and well, it didn't turn out that well. Now, mind you, at the time and throughout the years of my relationship, I did think, oh my gosh, why is this happening to me? Like, it's just a lot, like the pressure, the stay in a relationship, like the love that I love this guy, but he doesn't love me right. It was a lot. And I think if I had been just a little bit more susceptible to those thoughts of, fuck, this all is happening to me, I think I would have crumbled, to be honest. But I didn't. I tried to stay just with my goals aligned and just straight. level-headed mindset. And I think that's what got me through. And let me give you the whole rundown as to specifically what I feel happened for me in that relationship. Okay. I think in an abusive relationship, it's really easy to feel a lot of fears in regards of, am I going to be able to make it by myself? Am I going to live by myself? Am I going to survive? Because I do feel like there's a lot of codependency that is not talked about enough for people that are in abusive relationships. So let's just chit chat a little bit about it. I was married and we did split most of our bills 50-50. That means rent, that means light, phone bills. Everything was split 50-50. So after we got separated, that whole weight of bills, the 50% of his bills just fell on me. And, living in the Bay Area in a 2-bedroom apartment with a pool feels like a lot, okay? And at the time, I just remember saying, oh my goodness, can I live without him? Long story short, I did, and I'm just very successful and I'm thriving, and I made it, obviously. So now I am a paralegal at a law firm in San Francisco. Love my job, love my boss, genuinely love what I do. I feel like I'm helping people every day. I'm learning tons. And all of this happened thanks to my ex. Now, it didn't happen literally like that. Take it with a grain of salt, but here's the story. So my ex knew this guy from the gym. My ex was a gym rat. He was in the gym 24/7, and he knew this guy. Now, they were acquaintances, okay? They weren't friends by any means. They had only spoken at the gym. They had never been in an outdoor setting together. Now, my ex was obsessed with this guy. And for his birthday, he comes and tells me, hey, I invited, let's call the guy Jimmy, and the wife, we're going to call her Loretta, okay? I invited Jimmy and his wife to have drinks with us on my birthday. And I'm like, this is people that I don't know. I don't drink alcohol. Why would I want to go to drinks with strangers that you don't even know that well either? And it was like super last minute. It was like day off, like an hour before. He's like, okay, get ready, we're going to go. And if you're a woman, that's not how things work, okay? An hour, that's what I take to shower. No, I'm not going to. Anyways, regardless. I was like, you know what? I just wanted to save a fight with this individual. So I said, sure, I'll be there. I'll show up. Let's go to drinks with these strangers. Now, mind you, I'm really, really grateful that I did go because I hit it off with them immediately. And Jimmy and Loretta became my friends almost immediately. The vibes were there, just the chit chat was there. Loretta is just, I feel like she matches my vibe very well. So we were just friends immediately. And throughout the years, Jimmy and Loretta became really good friends of mine. We became really close. And after one of the abuse incidents took place, I called them and they were my support. They were there for me. They kind of guided me through it, what I could do, what my options were. But I was madly in love with this man, okay? And I just stayed with him and I didn't press charges and I just stayed. I was like, if he goes to therapy, we can work it out. And, they, as my friends, didn't judge me on it. They were like, if that's what you want to do, we'll be here for you. And they were there for me. Now, a year goes by. And at this time, this is in 2022, at this time, I was working full-time in my small business. I did, or I still do, balloon decor. So when you see the Kardashians and their big, big balloon arrangements, that's what I did at the time. And as a small business, I gave myself a 1-year window to make this work. I said, in April 2022 till April 2023, that's going to be my 1-year window to make this work. If it doesn't work, then I'll just get a job. Long story short, it definitely didn't work. I wasn't making nearly as much money as I thought I was going to make, so I had to drop it. In November 2022 was the second reported domestic violence incident where my ex again went to jail. But this time I said, enough is enough. I'm pressing charges. I'm getting separated. I'm doing the things the way they have to be done, and that's it. Now, I still had 5 more months to make my 1-year commitment to my business work. Mind you, at this point, you get separated and your bills get separated. It's not 50-50 anymore. Now I'm stuck with a 2-bedroom apartment with a pool and the bills and the electric and phone bill and just everything just went up by 50%, of course. And I started feeling the pressure of it. I started feeling like I cannot sustain my life the way I've been living. And the fear started to hit because I started to say, oh my gosh, how am I going to pay rent? Like, I still had savings, of course, because I wouldn't have gone into a 1 year long commitment if I didn't have enough savings to make it for 2.5 years. But you feel the pressure. You feel the money going down, not much money coming in, and you get scared. And now let's just bring it back. Imagine at the time I had thought, holy fuck, why is this happening to me? I'm a good person. Why? Why is this happening to me? But no, I didn't take it that way. I just, kept my goal straight up and just working towards it. April 2023 comes by. My deadline with myself is up. And I said, okay, this is it. It didn't work. It's okay. Now I'm just going to look for a job. I'm going to look for a 9 to 5 or whatever part-time. I just need a little bit of more stable income, because if you have a small business, you know that the income, it fluctuates, bestie, okay? So, and I'm a huge believer that closed mouths don't get fed. And if you want something, you need to just go for it, ask for it, make people aware that that's what you want, that that's what you need, and it'll come to you, okay? So I told Loretta on like a Friday night, like, hey girl, I'm kind of looking for a job. If you know of anything, I'm kind of down for it. The only thing I'm not down for is babysitting, because I had been an au pair for years. But if you know of anything, let me know. I'll apply. This girl took 24 hours to get me an interview. Okay, I don't know if it was like Friday night or Saturday night that we spoke. Monday morning, I had a job interview at Jimmy's law firm. I've never worked in law, not my vibe, but I had an interview at a law firm. They called me Monday morning and they said, hey, Jimmy said you're looking for a job. Can you show up tomorrow? And I said, can I show up tomorrow? I will be there at any time you tell me to. I, of course, got the job. I've been working there for almost 2 years. And I love it. I started to bring women that have also been victims of domestic violence, and we sue their exes and get them a lot of money. The last one we settled was for $162,000. So, slay. And here's where I'm going with this. If I hadn't lived the things that I lived through, I wouldn't have been able to do what I'm doing now. Because I certainly wouldn't have met Jimmy and Loretta if it hadn't been for my ex. Now, of course, my ex didn't get me my job. Loretta got me the job, but I got it for myself. If I hadn't been a competent candidate, I wouldn't have gotten it, right? But if I hadn't been for my ex, I wouldn't have met them and I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. Do I think that everything that happened to me in my relationship, everything that was done to me throughout my previous relationship was justified? Absolutely not. I think violence, regardless, it's always unjustified. You can always figure your things out another way. Now, if I hadn't been through that, I probably wouldn't be able to relate to women the way I do now, because the women that come to our law firm, and I interview them and I take all their intake and I help them throughout the entire lawsuit, they always tell me how they feel hurt, how they don't feel judged, how they don't feel like, okay, girly, the time is up, you have 30 minutes, get it moving. No, I'm there and I listen, and mind you, I relive my trauma through them a lot, but I understand them. And that's something that another law firm can do unless they have someone that's lived it firsthand or someone that's been doing this for years. And I love it. I love being able to help people, because I wish I had been helped the way I'm helping others at the time that I was going through it. And now going back to what we talked about in the beginning, I told you that I know you're probably going through some stuff that you feel like your world is going to end. You probably hate your boss. You probably don't get along with your sibling and you see everyone else getting along with their siblings. You probably don't know why your relationship kind of sucks. You see everyone else posting on their Instagram and thriving. Also, a little quick story. Those relationships that are posting 24/7, trust me, it's a lie, because I was one of those and I was going through hell and back, okay? So please don't compare yourself to people on social media. It's all fake, I guarantee you. What I need you to do right now is a little exercise of thinking about whatever is bothering you in this exact moment. Whatever your story is, think about the thing that you feel like it fucking sucks and you don't understand why it's happening, because it has no reasoning behind it. And I just want you to work through it with me. Now, let's just use this example. Your boss is a dick. You hate him or her. You just don't get along. Oh my gosh, they're micromanaging all the time. Now, is this really happening to you or is it happening for you? Because you're getting trained right now to deal with a really hard personality, with a person that's really hard to deal with. But in the future, when you go into a bigger, better company and you have a lot of people to deal with, you're going to know how to handle every single personality because you were successful at the one you were at right now. Now, let's say you are struggling to pay your rent and that seems like the end of the world. I mean, I know damn well that that's a stressful position to be in. Is it really happening to you or is it happening for you? Because let's say you got laid off and you can't pay your rent. Is this going to force you to start a business of your own, to start, I don't know, posting social media content to figure it out? Because, necessity is the mother of reinvention. So is this happening to you or is this happening for you? So that you can start a small business, so that you can make more money, so that you're not tied to someone's moods. Is it happening to you or is it happening for you, girly pop? Now, let's say your relationship sucks like mine did. You're with this person that you genuinely don't know even why you're with this person anymore. You're like, I don't like how you breathe. I don't like how you smell. I don't like how you touch me. But you've been through this relationship, let's say, I don't know, 6 months, a year. Is this happening to you? Because you're probably thinking, damn, I've wasted so much time with this person. Like, I'm probably going to stay with them just because it's the safe thing. Mejor malo conocido que bueno por conocer. I don't even know how to translate that into English. So if you know, you know. So you're probably going to stay with this person just for the safety of it. But let's say you break up with this person. Did this breakup really happen to you or did it happen for you? Because you would have been unhappy in a relationship with a person that wasn't your person for such a long time. So would it have been better 1 year of the relationship you lost or 10 years of a relationship you don't want to be in? And now you go into your next relationship and you know the things that you're looking for. You know who you are, what you like, what you want in a future relationship. So did it happen to you or did it happen for you? It's all a matter of perspective. And I have so many more stories that I can tell you that just back up this statement and this way of thinking. I want you to have this mindset with you from now on. Because trust me, it'll make life a lot easier. When you feel like your boss is yelling at you and you don't know why, instead of saying, this motherfucker, I freaking hate him, take a little deep breath, bestie, and say, it's okay. I'm being trained for a better position in life. Let's say you have social anxiety and you are in a setting where you don't feel comfortable and you're like, oh my gosh, why is this happening to me? Like, I don't want to be in this setting. It's not happening to you, my love. You just have to take a little breath and say, okay, I'm training my subconscious to be comfortable in this type of settings. And this is one step towards that. And if you want to talk to me about the things that you're going through, and I would love to listen. I would love to read you. I would love to hear you. My Instagram is @IngeloreDubs on every platform. And the podcast username is @It'sALawPodcast on every platform. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, whatever it is, it's there. So I want you to go to my Instagram, to the podcast Instagram, and just DM me if this was helpful to you. If now you have a little bit of a different perspective on whatever it is you're going through, because I hope you do. And I hope it just gets easier to handle life with this knowledge and with this perspective. But that's it for now, girly pops. I hope you enjoy this podcast and I hope you enjoy all of the episodes to come. I'm incredibly grateful for you and just hearing my crazy stories, because trust me, there's a lot more to come. Besitos. Bye.